Alright, welcome back to the weekly recap for this week. So last week we analyzed a lot of pairs using the fxalexg set and forget strategy, and let me show you how they played out during the week. The very first pair was Euro GBP. So what we are looking for on Euro GBP mostly was a retest back into this area for us to look for any engulfing we see on the 1 hour to take the trade, right? Buys, obviously. So I didn't actually take this trade personally because I didn't really get the retest the way I was waiting to get, right? Market just opened here and just technically started pushing. If I'd look for other entries on this pair, like a break and retest and engulfing, just like this, retest engulfing, break, retest engulfing, I would have gotten multiple entries on this trade, but I just didn't want to take trade that is way too far from my area of interest. So that's the very first pair for the week, but as you can see, the direction of the markets was obviously very correct. Second pair for the week that we analyzed last week, we are waiting for a retracement on GBP CHF to sell, right? So direction correct again, as you can see, but I didn't also enter this pair. The reason, as you can see, my alert never even got hit, right? I was waiting for a retracement back to around here to sell. Technically there was a retracement, but I think I was waiting for that retracement on a 4-hour time frame actually. So I was waiting for a retracement, something like this. It looks a little bit more cleaner for me, but market moved so fast I didn't actually manage to actually take this trade last week. So boys can see direction correct. The third pair, again, I was paying attention. So this is the only one that the direction was not correct. Don't ignore this trade. I didn't really even take this one. This, we were looking for buys last week, so we didn't get the sell. So like I was saying, price last week was around here, so we're waiting for a break and retest above to actually buy. But like I was explaining in that video, price have rejected from this area and sold strongly, even weak into this area and sell strongly. So I wasn't, even if I was looking for buys, I wasn't going to be entering any trade here. I was waiting for a break and retest above. As you can see, this was the drawing I drew in that last video, right? So I was waiting for a break and retest above so that I can be able to buy this market. So market did not actually do that. It just rejected off of here. So I mean, if you would have looking for sales entry, this is the trade you would have gotten. But me, I wasn't looking for sales entry because I believe what I already analyzed before, I should just basically just stick to it because I might be using a different mindset to take a new trade. The trade I actually took was CADJPY, and I'm going to take my time now to analyze this trade. So the Alex during the G challenge, they were expecting buys on this trade, but I was explaining why I was expecting sales, right? Because market was actually bullish, yes, I agree, but we had a strong area of interest on the daily time frame that had 1, 2, 3 taps and a retracement back into the areas, a doji and engulfing. So I told you guys in that video that there's still sell momentum, there's still sellers in this market. So I was looking to take sales. So what happened on the trade is that this was the break retest. Price was around here last week when I was analyzing, right? So I was expecting that price will sell. So this is the trade I actually took, and let me explain what I saw and why I took it, right? So this was when market opened. So I was debating on whether to take this trade, because the reason I was debating on whether to take this trade is not because the trade was not ready. The trade was ready, but the only reason I was debating was because it was outside of session already. To me, as long as the trade is ready to enter, right? I don't need session, but sometimes you just know that you're breaking your rules, so you just need to be aware that you're breaking your rules at that point. So that's why I was debating. So I just eventually entered. So I entered at this candle. Like I said, after the engulfing, you enter on the next candle after engulfing. So I entered on this candle, and then I supposed to put my stop loss above this high actually, but I'll explain why I put my stop loss above this zone right here. So I entered here, and then I put my stop loss here, and then I targeted 1:2 risk to reward ratio. Now, so when I entered this trade, the trade was looking like this, right? So let me explain my thought process during the trade. So when I entered the trade, right, because there's a lot of times that you decide not to enter a trade just because it's outside of session, and then by morning it has played out. I decided to enter this trade that night. So I woke up and then I saw that price was in profit in the morning, feeling all good, you know. So price was still clearly bearish. This was the high and this was the lower low, right? Technically, I saw this retracement, but I didn't exit the trade. Obviously, you're not even supposed to exit the trade. You need to wait for either TP or SL to get hit, right? But I wasn't expecting that price should break above this high right here, because if it breaks above this high, it means that price is switching bullish. If you look from this EMA, you can see that price started switching bullish, right? So I just kept holding, and price now came into the red, and then it was now deep into loss, right? So I was still losing the trade, but I still kept on holding because I didn't explain why I put my stop loss above here. So, but I'll explain in one video that I'm going to be making if you guys need it. Like I said, weak outs are very common in the Trump market recently. I have a trick on how I usually avoid these weak outs. If you guys want me to create this video, right, on how to avoid weak outs, then let me know, right? Because that is the strategy I use, and that's why this box is here. Somebody asked me that question on my last video: why is there little box on the lower time frame? So that is the reason. That is the trick I usually use to try and avoid weak outs, right? So as you can see, price came as close as possible and even rejected from that box, right? And then price now enter back into profit, right? I posted this trade, right? Where is the trade? This was the trade right here, right? When I entered the trade, right? When the trade was in drawdown, this same trade, CADJPY, right? Then when the trade came back into profit, right? And when it finally hits TP, CADJPY TP smashed, and when it finally hits final take profit, right? So now let me explain something here. The reason I took this other trade, I treated it like a new trade on its own, right? It's just like price coming back into the area of interest, then you look for your shift of structure and you retest and engulfing. So it's like a different trade inside the same trade, right? It's the same pair I'm taking, but it's like I saw a different trade, right? So when price, this was a low, this was a high, making price bullish, right? So as soon as price shifted bearish, breaking below this low, I was waiting for a retracement and an engulfing to take this trade. So I took the trade here, and then I put my stop loss. I supposed to put my stop loss above this high, but because of that trick again, like I said, I had to put my stop loss above here, right? So this was a total of 1:4 point something risk to reward ratio. CADJPY was W. That's the trade I took this week, right? I think I was also looking to take this trade again, this same CADJPY, right? Price was coming back into the area of interest. Price has just been bullish. I was expecting a shift of structure, high, shift of structure. It did not have the engulfing. I was waiting. What's happening before market just just did this, right? Price just went up. So that's why we always follow our rules. So another pair for the week that we took, or that I didn't take, right? I only took CADJPY, but let me explain this trade. So last week on NZD USD, this was technically where price was, right? This was where price was technically, right? So this was where market opened. If this candle right here was an engulfing candle, I would have entered this trade sales to put my stop loss above here, right? But this candle was a bullish candle, so it broke above this high, right, making this market bullish. So this was now another break, right, making market bullish. So but I was looking for sales, so I can't really buy it together with the bullish market, right? I'm looking for sales because I've already analyzed last one day, and I know that I should be looking for sales on this market. I should not be looking for buys, right? So making price was still bullish. So price was bullish coming into this area. Price was still bullish. This is the high, this is the low. Price was still bullish, right? And then price now shifted bearish. As you can see, price now shifted bearish. We even have this left head, right shoulder, and even a break of a neckline and break of the trend line. You can see the EMA self also shifted bearish. So all you have to do is wait for a retracement and an engulfing to take the trade. So this one is not an engulfing, this is not engulfing, this is not an engulfing, but this one is an engulfing. So you enter on the next candle after engulfing and put your stop loss above these highs right here, right? And then you target 1:2 risk to reward ratio. As you can see, it was a W. I didn't actually take this trade, by the way, right? And then the last pair for the week was Euro JPY. Price was around here last week, So this was a break, this was a retest and an engulfing. So price was at this candle. So I was just expecting for a retracement to buy with this market. This was a loss on this pair, right? So the retracement happened, right? Obviously, you don't have to wait for an entry signal because this already is the entry signal. We are technically supposed to be on this candle. So the second candle after the engulfing, you're supposed to be on this candle, but I didn't want it to enter this high because this candle has already closed, right? So we wanted a retracement to enter. I didn't actually enter this pair, by the way.